or not. Happy Ballsmick Wednesday to each and every one of you. We begin today's show with a hearty hang in there to our folks further south in the state. Obviously, talking about that area around Naples and thereabouts. Hopefully, everybody is doing okay so far, and that everybody's in a safe place and hunkered down. As we move forward here, a lot of you will continue to have questions about the game. I think it's going to be played. That's my opinion. I am not hearing anything otherwise, anything to the contrary. Now, if we do, we will most assuredly tell you guys throughout the course of the show. If FSU has another release, we'll let you know. I know as of yesterday, all systems go for this football game. Tallahassee, if we're being honest, has been greatly spared in this situation. The rest of the state dealing with a lot of stuff, but doesn't look like anything but easy breezy times, knock on wood, for us here in Tallahassee. Maybe some rain and some light winds, but I think Saturday come 3:30, at least judging from all the models and everything you're hearing from the experts, and I'm certainly not pretending to be one. I'm reading and listening just like you guys are. It doesn't appear that we're going to have any problems playing this football game on Saturday. Now, Coach Clawson at Wake Forest thinks otherwise. And I'm sure it's just because he's concerned about the storm. I'm sure that has to be what it is. Some bizarre comments that he ended up walking back, I think probably as he heard himself say it. Perhaps maybe took a second, I don't know, like a few minutes after he said it, realized that it did make a lot of sense, because there are some implied things within the statement that he made that I think you could take the wrong way if you were an official at Florida State. I think that maybe you could take umbrage with his quote. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it reads as follows: "You certainly hope the ACC office makes the right decision." Now, I want to stop there, Tom, as we parse this. So I'm just kind of wondering what that is. I mean, does he think that the officials of the ACC or that Florida State's officials would put their fans and athletes in danger or in peril in any way?
Yeah, Florida State would. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Because what that implies is Florida State is not going to do the right thing. Hopefully the league office does.
Correct. So you read it the same way I did. So then from there, he went on to say, if they don't, we will, which is whatever, bravado. You know, you pump up your fans with stuff like that. We're not going to travel down there and put anybody at risk. Oh, but we desperately want you to. I mean, we want all of your players and your fans and your personnel to be in grave danger so that we can play a football game. He notes that they're monitoring the weather. Good. Most of us do. Obviously, this is in the league's hands, in Florida State's hands. He mentions Florida State's hands last, of course. We would hope that they would make the right decision. But if we feel that there is any danger to our players, we're not going to go. Well, that's fine.
Why even play the game of football? I mean, period. You know, your players are in danger anytime they take the field. What's the threshold here would be my question.
He went on to say, listen, let's just assume here that we're all adults. Nobody, no rational player is ever going to ask a team to get on a flight if there is any danger in taking said flight to said destination. No, nobody at Florida State, no coach, no player, nobody in the league office, man. Nobody's going to be like, well, guys, it is just a 12% chance that the plane crashes in these terrible winds as you land in Tallahassee. But we think it's worth it. Come on down. Let's try to get this football game in and hope like hell that the 88% chance that you land safely holds true. Now, I do say that 12% is harrowing and makes one a little nervous, but we think it's worth the risk. Nobody's doing that, dumbass. Nobody. If it were 2% risk because of the weather, no, they wouldn't do that. This is just a whole lot of nonsense. It's not just the flight, it's the hotel. Oh, what about the hotel? Does it have electricity? These are his quotes. Nope. The town is burning down all around us. That's why we need football, Dave. Please, by all means, get down here. We need a distraction from the destruction of Tallahassee. Are they going to be able to feed you? No. None of us have eaten in days. You can't go down there and not have food. Dave, come on, man. It's if you're cynical, you'd say that they don't want to play the game right now. They just got off the heels of the Clemson game, a little beat up. It's a tough ask to go on the road and play this game. And if he can find a way out of the game, he's going to find a way out of the game, because it probably behooved them to play it in a few weeks from now, right after we've played NC State and Clemson. I get it, man. I understand. It's just a strange thing for him to do. Yeah,
it's grandstanding to put the ball back in Florida State's court, which is why I was glad that Michael Alford at 6:00 was like, dude, look.
Well, this is what he said. Following our most recent briefing today with authorities, university administration, transportation officials, security, law enforcement, and emergency responders, we remain confident that we'll be able to safely play and host Saturday's football game against Wake Forest at its scheduled kickoff time. Yeah, that was a nice retort. That's a nice way of saying, dude, come on, man.
If the model switches and it's coming for us, we're not playing a football game. We know that. And yesterday, that was a critical day to know whether or not.
Right.
We talked about this on Monday. By the time you get to where we are right now, you better have an idea of where that thing's going and what your plan is going to be. To move the game to Sunday, to move it to October 22nd, whatever it is. But, not to sound callous, because we're speaking about the logistics of a football game, not the safety of the state. The moment that this thing shifts east and lands farther south in the state of Florida than was anticipated even 48 to 72 hours ago, that's the moment you can green light this thing. And moreover, you might want to hang out in Tallahassee for an extra day or two when you get down here. You know why? It'll be safer for you than being up in Winston-Salem on Saturday.
He went on to, I think possibly realizing how it sounded. He circled back, some would say walked back, his comments.
Oh, he knew.
In which he said,
he knew he screwed up.
We really want to play. We absolutely want to play, but only if it's safe. Well, right, man. Right.
That's what you could have said at the outset, dude.
Also, you didn't have to say it. It's implied. Everybody understands that you're not going to put you, your staff, your players, your fans' lives in danger to play a football game. Nobody. No, it goes unsaid.
Yeah, and if I'm a Wake fan, I'm saying you sound more scared than you coached the last couple of minutes of that football game on Saturday, Coach, because if you're saying it's in the league's hands, that means that you're pinning blame on your opponent before you guys are even playing a football game.
Well, it's just
as though we're going to ignore a Cat 4 storm. We're saying kick it off.
Well, right. That's my point.
I don't care. The air raid sirens are going off. Let's go play.
I mean, it was almost rhetorical. Like he was just talking aloud and then realized, oh, man, that actually doesn't sound real good.
Well, and what he admitted was, I didn't expect to be asked this many questions about the hurricane. That was one of his preambles to his third answer or fourth answer on the topic.
He went on to say, I don't know right now. It's only Tuesday. I'm sure every day we'll get more information. We have to be prepared to play a football game. You're right. You do. You do. And it is fascinating to hear, because I don't know. I've never thought of Dave Clawson as dumb in any way. I've never thought of him and callous and manipulative in that way. I'm not going to prattle on about this for too much longer. It's easy to dismiss. Obviously, it is strange to imply that in some bloodthirsty manner, Florida State officials are ignoring urgent warnings of pending doom in order to play a football game. Like, that is, come on, man.
No, it's completely disingenuous. And I agree. I said, oh, man, don't tell me you're about that life, because he also likened it to COVID. Feels like the situation's like COVID. No, it's not.
No, it doesn't seem anything like COVID.
You could go to bed on Friday with your full team and your roster at your disposal, wake up on Saturday and half of it's gone and you're not playing.
Right.
By Friday, that thing's going to be past us.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So Dave made a fool of himself yesterday. I don't know that it makes any impact whatsoever on the game. Just something to note that okay, duly noted, Dave. Got it. You're that guy. Should be, I think, judging by what we're projecting or what the weather experts are projecting, not only is the game likely to be played Saturday at 3:30 against Wake Forest, it might be absolutely lovely.
Well, I think everybody should explore how lovely it is at Hotel Indigo at 12:30 on Saturday afternoon for the Warchant Gameday presented by
Is it
Zaxby's
safe?
pregame show.
I'm not going to top Hotel Indigo and endanger my life to entertain the masses with a pregame show for a football game that should have been canceled 3 days ago, Tom.
Well, I can tell you there will be food, first of all.
So we will eat. Is there electricity?
Well, I mean, short of me being there on Saturday, I suppose there is an infinitesimal chance that there might not be electricity, Jeff. Is that enough for you to cancel the show?
Well, I think we need to think long and hard about our priorities. Eric writes, FSU is going to blow Wake out. They're scared to play. Come on down to Tallahassee. Woo! Thanks for the contribution, as always, Eric. If Wake is ready to play, I don't think Florida State will blow them out. I do think Florida State can win the game, and I'm excited about the game, and I think it's a great test, and it's one of 3 straight that will help define what Florida State's capable of doing this year in terms of the conference, the division, the conference, and obviously what we're going to project. Will the water be running, Tom? That's from Ian.
Well, Clawson will be.
But this is a big stretch, and it's the start of a big stretch, and I'm hunkering down for that, Tom. I'm very, very excited about this stretch because honestly, what you achieve by winning those first 4 games in the manner in which you won them is ratcheted up expectations and the chance that you are a contender to win the Atlantic Division of the ACC. You are in the conversation. There's no denying that. Whether you think they will win it or not, they are most assuredly in the conversation. Something else to point out here, while we're talking about grandiose expectations and perhaps a massive shift in what we thought possible before the year to where we are now, I've been noticing the weekly updates from Bill Conley, ESPN, College Football Insider, and inventor of SP Plus and FPI and all that other stuff. And he ranked all of the undefeated teams. And he did that a week ago too, but he went back and ranked the college football's remaining 21 undefeated teams. He got Florida State 15th right now.
Okay.
And it's close right there with Washington. And I was going through the numbers here, and it's pretty interesting just to read this and say it out loud because it just gets you excited. You can quibble with what you think about whether or not Florida State's better than Washington or NC State or Kentucky or USC, teams that are ahead of them in this ranking. But this is great. After proving their resilience and beating LSU and Louisville by a combined 5 points, Mike Norvell's Seminoles proved their upside by blowing out Boston College from the start. Jordan Travis needed only 16 completions to amass 321 yards, and the score was 14-0 3 minutes into the game, 37-0 late in the third quarter. This was absolute destruction, and it moved the Noles up 10 spots in SP+. Now comes a trio of prove-it games. Wake Forest at NC State, hosting Clemson. If FSU is still unbeaten on October the 16th, we will begin talking about a legit playoff contender.
Yeah.
Just reading that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've probably all had it race past fleetingly so our minds, right? Just our mind's eye. Like, what would it be? Oh, I don't want to think about it.
Right.
Like, you don't spend a lot of time
So
on it.
that came up as a consideration question in the postgame show on Saturday, and I was not prepared for it. It was a gut punch. Whoa. Because the person still was asking their question after the word came out, the P word. And I thought about it for a moment, and I thought, well, I mean, shoot, if you do win your next 2 games, the week of Clemson, it's a legitimate thing to talk about. It would be. So if you beat Wake and you beat NC State, it is a legitimate thing to talk about. And it's not so far-fetched that you could win both of those games now, is it?
No, I think the road Saturday night game against North Carolina State is going to be a very tall task. But are you asking if it's winnable? Of course it is.
Right.
Of course it is.
I'm not saying it's likely per se.
Right.
I'm just saying,
is it winnable? Yeah, it's a winnable game. NC State will be favored in that game in all likelihood, regardless of what happens in their game this weekend.
Sure.
But I would say that, yeah, do we sit here today believing that it's more of a distinct possibility than before the season began? Yes, I had chalked this up, the game against NC State, that is, as a pretty much a definitive loss. Given what they are with the defensive front, I didn't think we could block them. We may not be able to. I don't know. Let's get to that game when we get to that game.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and win this game, because this strikes me, weather permitting, and I don't mean that at Dave Clawson's expense. Weather permitting, if it's not awful, and it doesn't look to be, this strikes me as a shootout.
Well, I was very, very impressed. I finally did go deep dive into the game, start to finish. In the second half, I hadn't seen because of, Indigo. I saw the end of the fourth quarter and the overtime.
Yeah.
Because we were setting up for our Saturday broadcast. I got to tell you, Wake's defense impressed me because of what they do, which is they say, if we're going to make a mistake, it's 100 miles an hour. They don't wait. They don't wait for a thing. And DJ is not as quick of a decision maker as Jordan Travis, but Jordan has to be on his P's and Q's. If he hesitates for a second, they're in the backfield. And it's not because their front four is going to obliterate Florida State's offensive line. It's just because they don't wait for you to consider what you're going to do. It's almost like the opposite of their offense, where their offense will wait you out for days.
Hold.
Correct. If their offense operates in days, then their defense wants to operate in nanoseconds.
Yeah.
So that challenges you to make a quick decision and make a correct decision. But if you do,
you can
chunk
kill them
plays.
Big
oh,
plays.
my goodness.
I saw the same thing, Tom, when I watched that game. The thing that I would point out, though, is, and I know the answer to this question, so this truly is rhetorical. Do we believe in Jordan Travis? Right.
Yeah.
So my point would be, this could be a big afternoon for this receiving core, and again, they've got one of two ways they can choose to go about attacking this defense, and Wake will help dictate that. Whatever they decide to do with their personnel, do they decide to load up and stop the run? And
they can't play back and play zone. They're worse than us at it.
Yeah. So my point would be, if they're going to do that, then we're going to get a lot of one-on-ones and opportunities to really kind of dominate. And I trust Jordan Travis to pre-snap that. And then I would say, if they play off in any way and they want to keep everything in front of them, we can run the football.
Legitimately, the more fun takeaway from watching that, which is, again, that Wake is going to make some plays in the backfield, I think, defensively speaking. It's just that our offense is better than Clemson's offense. I'm sorry. The personnel might not be better when you look at blue chip ratio, but this offense is more multifaceted. It's smarter.
The only part that's not is player for player offensive line.
Maybe in terms of blue chip ratio, but that offensive line got obliterated by a 4-man rush. And I'm interested to see if we hold up better than they do in that particular part of the game. Clemson's offensive line has me on this alert now. I'm looking at them.
I think their offensive line is as good as ours, if not better. So it does concern me that we're going to see some breakdowns in that situation. I would also say that for all of the successes that you're pointing to for Wake's defense in that game at times, I mean, that point total and that yardage total suggests Clemson did a lot of what they wanted to do offensively as well. DJ threw the ball effectively most of the afternoon. And any of the breakdown plays, he ended up with huge chunk plays.
He did. The funny thing about him, there will be times when he makes exceptional throws, and he made about 4 or 5 of them in this game. Really good throws.
Yeah.
But then there are times where it's almost as though the defense is saying, DJ, what's 2 + 2? And then he'll go like 7, 4, carry the 3, 4. And he gets it right. And you're like, man, that took way too long for you to come to the correct conclusion.
Right.
Whereas Jordan is going to be quicker to tell you 4, which means that the big plays are going to happen.
I think so. I lead this. I'm, again, leaning towards this being a bit of a shootout, unless we choose also to keep the ball out of their hands, which might be a wise idea, depending on the personnel you have back or don't. If you don't have Verse back and you don't have Lovett back, and I don't know about either, if I were guessing, I'd tell you there's a better chance Verse plays, just judging by what we saw on the sidelines this past week.
And this morning, he was a part of our Warchant TV practice footage, walking along the sidelines.
Right. He looks pretty healthy. Again, I'm not a doctor, but he looks pretty healthy. In terms of Fabian Lovett, I mean, we see him, and he's not healthy. He's not ready. So if you can get Verse back, I think it's a real big deal to help blow up this mesh and create some negative plays. But without him, then I do think it's a high-scoring affair, and I might be inclined to run the ball down their throat and keep the ball out of Hartman's hands.
That's what I'm interested in seeing is, can we? Because they'll tee off on the run, and they'll cheat against it.
They'll cheat against it, but this is where you would incorporate Jordan's legs a week sooner than we thought we would need to.
Precisely.
Yeah. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. We've all heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting. This used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com, FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2270146.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 Berry Bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Jeff Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
The circling back of our discussion about what's possible and if that game is played and the Noles are to win it, what would be at stake over the next 2 weeks against NC State and Clemson. There's a lot of interest as we watch NC State this week against Clemson, right? I mean, this is this little rotation for Clemson, NC State, and Florida State couldn't come at a better time. I mean, this is you have everybody vying for the belt here in a condensed version because NC State, Clemson this week. Clemson just played Wake. Wake and us this week. We play NC State next week and Clemson the week after. So you have all these rotating. This is fun. This is where you really do get a sense because a lot of times if a team plays, say we were to play NC State week 2 and then Clemson played in week 9, it's a different team altogether. Yeah. So this is a little bit better in comparing and contrasting what teams are or are not. Now, obviously, games are played and people get healthy or they get hurt and all that other stuff. So we'll monitor all that. But yeah, we got a nice little grouping here.
Well, that's why I love what the piece that'll be on Warchant tomorrow, breaking down Wake Forest. I love that they played Clemson just now because there are no more secrets. You know, that's the game that Clawson had circled in the offseason, and this was the litmus test for them if they've taken the next step. And they were very, very close to doing so. If only he had the guts in the fourth quarter to go for it a little bit more, maybe they would have finished and they would be a top 12 team, top 10 team in the country coming down to Tallahassee. But at any rate, for evaluation purposes, it's great. And the ACC League office did us a favor. We're playing Wake after we play Clemson. We're playing NC State after they play Clemson. Now, the turnabout is fair play moment is Clemson gets a bit of a breather after we go through this 2-game gauntlet and we host the Tigers and Dabo Swinney. We'll be pretty tired and beleaguered at that point. So cash in with your wins early if you can, because the payoff would be after Clemson, a bye week in Georgia Tech to recoup. Schedule, it's as good as it can be for this kind of a sequence.
It is. And I think Florida State is a good football team. We've graduated to saying that Florida State's a good football team. I don't think they're a great football team, but one thing they are doing exceptionally well, they are getting so much out of the pieces they do have. I mean, these guys play so hard, and they're playing faster, more violent, more I think they've been, without question, we talk about how winning affects the psyche. Yes, it matters. You get ranked and all the descriptors that come with winning a bunch of games. But more than anything, you begin to believe you can win a bunch of games. You begin to believe you're going to win games. You can be down in games and it doesn't phase you. You don't see the turtling effect that you just talked about with Clawson. You don't see that. You see guys emboldened by success. And Florida State had been down for so long that getting these wins, 2 of them being extremely close and testing your mettle, getting these wins, now you see guys who take the field with a whole lot of what for. And I'm always asking for it because football is not a game for the bashful. And if you're going to make mistakes, make them fast, make them violent, and, remind an individual or two that, yep, that was a successful play, but I'm here, and Florida State didn't always do a very good job of that. That was the maddening aspect of these down years, these horrifically down years, is that in addition to losing football games, there were times that I wasn't real clear that they cared to be involved in said football games. That's not going to be the case at any point this year, and there won't become a time where they don't fight because that has become abundantly clear. They love each other, and the coaches have talked a lot about that too. That's got to be the most exciting thing in the world. Every coach I've ever spoken to said once it becomes the players' team, you have a different set of rules, a different set of circumstances, not the way that you go about instructing them or motivating them, but rather what you're capable of.
Yeah, I agree. And I saw a team that was all those things that you described play only 2.5 quarters on Saturday, a starting group. And that's critical because, spoiler alert, because I'm going to do the Warchant report a little bit later today. I think I'd pick Wake if the circumstances were neutral, given how healthy Florida State is or how healthy we're not. The guys were missing at key positions. But the circumstances of this game could not be better for Florida State. What Clemson is coming off of physically and emotionally, because they put that game on a pedestal and they couldn't get the job done. That Florida State obviously is hosting the game. We'll see what the attendance is like. A lot of fans from affected areas in the state of Florida, and we hope that obviously this week is going as safely as possible for all of you. So I don't know how many of them are going to make it to Doak Campbell and what that means for the atmosphere. It might be a little less than Boston College for that reason, but the game's at home and you're coming off of a laugher against Boston College, one in which you proved you were mature enough to handle the task in front of you.
To go blow somebody out who's there to be blown out.
All of those circumstances converging, and it matters much more in college than pro for this kind of stuff. it really tilts the scale in Florida State's favor to a degree that I understand why Vegas has FSU favorite. Doesn't mean we're guaranteed to win the game. No, not even close. But sometimes these things all point against you, and you can feel that on the other side of it when you're saying, man, can we really summon this kind of energy again after what we went through last week? That's not the place we're in. That's the place Wake is in.
Almost seems inappropriate, Scooter Knoll. It's fair that you ask me, and I get it because I know you, and it comes from a good place. I would say ordinarily, and not even because we're actually dealing with a hurricane in the state of Florida, I would ordinarily say, yeah, this feels a bit like a Cat 5 maintain. I mean, it's been a long-running descriptor on the show. We're not going to shy away from that. I would tell you that this would ordinarily feel like that. The only thing that maybe keep this as a category 4 or 3 as opposed to a Cat 5 maintain, we're just talking about partying levels and focus and energy and all that, would be that it's 3:30. I've normally issued these cats, if you will, when it's an 8 o'clock kick and there is a lot riding on the game, 2 ranked teams, possibility of advancing your cause to get to a championship game, a playoff game these days, that kind of thing. I haven't always done it for certainly not nooners or 3:30 games. Occasionally.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing that would up the maintain for me, the weather on Friday night is going to be gorgeous, and the weather on Saturday morning is going to be gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And that invigorates.
It invites you.
Yeah, it invigorates the soul at 10 a.m., whereas maybe you're shaking off the cobwebs at 10 a.m. because you went hard on a Friday night. Wherever you choose to in Tallahassee, you could be a place like Corner Pocket
Bar and Grill, where myself and Corey Clark will saddle up and have a conversation at 5:30 this Friday, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. That's where the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is located. We will be there. We are for home games. Good times.
We call it the tentacles of the Corner Pocket. It's got a strange ability, maybe not so strange.
It'll hold you.
For 6 p.m. to turn into 10 p.m. with a quickness.
You know what it does? It holds the elderly with a firm grasp. You can't get them out of there. Anybody over the age of, say, 65, you got zero chance to get them removed from the premises.
Who could you be speaking of?
I'm just saying. Somehow.
Who fits that description?
Those tentacles wrap hold of these gentlemen of advanced years, and you cannot get them out, no matter how many times you implore them.
Mm-hmm.
That there are
born before 1949, maybe. How about that? Folks born before 1949.
It's just unbelievable.
It does have those tentacles, and if you get hit by the tentacles and then you make it home safely and then you wake up the next day, if it's 94 and sticky outside, you may stay in bed a little longer. You might do that. But if it's got a crisp 65 or 68 in the air at 9, 10 in the morning, you're on your way to the tailgate lot, and you're singing as you're doing it.
You still can. Just keep it together. It's a 3:30 kick. I do wonder, Florida State has not been in a great position for a long time to sell out a football game, as documented repeatedly by the network last week. But moreover, I would say they haven't been in a position to benefit from the hard work and the success on the football field with a series of games that are sellouts in a very long time. And unfortunately, I think they are going to be affected this weekend in a game that otherwise would be absolutely a sellout, given Florida State's stature right now in the top 25 and the way that they've played coming off that BC win. Let's just face it. There's no chance that that place is anywhere close to being a sellout. I mean, I can't imagine that it is. And again, I know there are bigger concerns. We hope everybody's all right. That's a given. We're all adults here. But I can't imagine that it's going to be anything.
You're not going to be the university and do something so cold as to reach out and say, hey, we see you're from Palm Harbor, Florida. Is there any chance you could send the tickets up here? We could distribute them to Nole fans who can make it to the building. You're not going to do that because you're a human being. And so there's going to be huge swaths of this fan base that just physically can't make it to the game. My hope is, though, that maybe they could run some calculations and say, all right, we can sell an extra 5,000 standing room only tickets or something along those lines. Let the locals go to the game and, fill out the gaps a little bit.
Cross your fingers. And again, any updates today, because we keep getting asked about it, I will, of course, pass it along. As of right now, we are Dave Clawson. We have electricity. Far as I know, there are still food in the area by which to feed you and your football players. Hotels are still open. I think we can as of right now, say that the football game is on for 3:30 on Saturday.
And if you're nice to us, we may even give you the super secret cell tower that we have here in town so you can connect your phone
Connect to your loved ones
to the world. Yeah. But you got to be nice.
What about an internet pass? Will we give them the code to the internet?
May need an apology. May need an apology for that.
It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Second Harvest of the Big Bend was among many local organizations preparing resources ahead of Hurricane Ian. All of the snack bags will be distributed before the storm to families in the North Florida counties directly served by Second Harvest. After Hurricane Ian, the food boxes will be provided to families most impacted by the storm, or they will be sent to other food banks throughout the state in need. The Taylor County Sheriff has issued a voluntary evacuation notice for all coastal, flood-prone, and low-lying areas of Taylor County. All residents are requested to secure yard items that may become projectiles in strong force winds. A shelter will open Wednesday morning at 8 at Taylor County Elementary School. The shelter will be pet friendly. Pet owners are asked to bring a crate and proof of vaccination. If you decide to not evacuate, be aware that all emergency services are suspended during periods of sustained winds in excess of 35 miles per hour. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. They'll be moving to a new location October 3rd. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 78 this afternoon under overcast skies, northeast winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy again tonight, lows level off around 62. Slight chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 75, mainly cloudy. Chance for scattered rain showers Friday and Saturday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
Leon County citizens, make sure you're prepared for Hurricane Ian. Keep items such as batteries, flashlights, and first aid kits on hand. More information about how you can prepare, act, and recover can be found at leonready.com. That's leonready.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks. Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel, and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their clothes. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Threatening to rise and feeling the football wins for the first time this year. The legit football wins. It was there in full force. A solid right there to start your day. Maggie didn't even want to come in. She just looked at me like, what do you mean come in? What are we doing? Let's just stand out here. Let's just stand out here. I got to fix the kids' lunch. Maggie, come on in. Stay out here if you want to then. And she never does. It was great.
Today will be the first day
buddy.
Post-March, I guess, maybe April, in which the back deck is open all day.
Forget about it.
The
Just
high's
leave
82.
it all. Yeah.
We're done.
It was glorious. And then I thought about what a sneaky good weekend it is, not just because of the matchup we have against Wake Forest, but if we start looking at this, You have some games of note this weekend, even a Friday night 10:30 jobber. Look at us here, a little Washington at UCLA in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, my. Okay.
UCLA's favored.
Well, it's unfortunate that we don't have an 8 p.m. kick here in Tallahassee. That would be a tough commodity to stay up for and enjoy, and then turn around for the pregame.
Yeah, well, hey, buddy, you got to buck up. It's football season. What if Washington UCLA comes down 24-24 with 2 minutes to play and you're snoozing away?
Well, then I'll be in a better position to do my job on Saturday.
No, man. You can't miss these games. The season ends. You're like, oh, I could have done more. Could have seen more games.
How do you feel about the 24 and a hook for Utah State traveling to BYU tomorrow night?
Utah State is one of 4 FBS teams that is 0-4 against the spread this year, Tom. They can go to hell.
Okay. All right.
I have soured on Utah State significantly. I have been on a roller coaster ride, guys. I have to tell you, I have either been good or awful. I can't get into a rhythm. Normally, I settle into a rhythm here, Tom. It's like you and I are out there playing golf, and I go birdie triple, and then it's par double. I can't get into a rhythm. I'd like to string some pars together, man. I'm having a tough time settling into that comfort zone where I go, oh, I know what you are. I know who you are. I got this. No, I can't say that. But I was saying it's a sneaky good weekend. Kentucky at Ole Miss. Great game. Surprisingly good game between Oklahoma at TCU.
Yeah, it's a 6.5 point line.
It's a good game. Texas Tech at Kansas State. Won't watch it. Not going to watch it. Fairly interesting game.
The battle of 2 Big 12 surprises.
Oregon State at number 12, Utah. Cam Rising and the boys have bounced back nicely since that opening day loss. 3-0 against the spread this season as a double-digit favorite is Utah. They are a double-digit favorite again this weekend. Alabama at Arkansas. Oh, little woo pig suey.
Pig suey.
Come on, Sam. Let's get these boys bouncing back.
We should have won last week.
That is a crazy bounce off the bar. It's a weird kick. Just a weird kick.
Why couldn't the ball be round?
Oklahoma State at Baylor. McLean Stadium, Tom.
Oh, yeah, McLean.
Always. Wake and Florida State. Texas A&M at Mississippi State. Davis Wade Stadium, Tom.
Davis Wade, not Wallace Wade.
The Davis Wade. Starkville's own.
It was Wallace's brother.
NC State at Clemson. I can't bleed the rock anymore. I think I'm done. I got everybody. I got all the ones, man. All the ones that I like. There may be a few others obviously on the side. But.
It's a little disappointing that NC State Clemson is a 7:30 kick and not an 8:15, 8:20 kick like they usually are for the those primetime ABC games.
Yeah, yeah.
That half an hour would make a big difference
for you.
Yes.
It would make a big difference for you. I understand.
I smell a 4-hour football game here in Tallahassee if it's the shootout we all feel it's going to
be. Yeah. I fear that you are correct, sir. I don't know that there's a way around it.
Domination. That's the way.
I'm really wrestling with this. We're supposed to give our score predictions today on the Warchant report, Tom. And if you're not doing the Warchant report, which today I'm not, then you have to video your prediction at a later time at some point.
Would
today.
You like to just do it right now?
And then
on the radio?
We are recording.
3, 2, and 1.
No, because I'm struggling with this, and I'll tell you why. I'm struggling. I'm starting to think that Florida State will do as we alluded to earlier, and that is run the ball a little bit more. I think it would be wise. I don't trust our defense. I'll just put it that way. I don't trust it. They're better.
And look, good defenses look silly against this scheme.
Right now they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Hartman's a good player. And if he has any time, he makes throws.
Well, if he gets 17 pass interference calls too.
And they do.
I mean, my God. Not that most of them weren't warranted.
Most of them were pass interference.
But I can't stand even his backup that came in. His name escapes me, but he doesn't matter compared to the Hartman. I just hate when a play is bailed out by an awful underthrow. Not an intentional back shoulder throw, but an awful underthrow. And it happens all the time with Hartman.
It also
all
happens,
the time.
It also happens in the NFL with every quarterback. Grossly underthrow a pass and you get rewarded. I agree.
You know the uncatchable thing where they do this? They should do like the DX thing, saying that's a terrible throw. Terrible throw. We're not throwing a flag.
Some of those guys, though, will intentionally do it. Not as much as the announcers like to give them credit for, but some of them are capable of actually intentionally doing that.
I'm just saying last week against Clemson, there were a couple in which he's being tackled as he's throwing the ball.
Well, they're moon balls. He's throwing up moon balls, and there's no chance to defend that. Well, I would tell
turning around and finding the ball.
But I would tell our corners this week that how normally when you're in phase, you can't really turn around and find the ball in the way that fans want you to. You probably got a chance this week.
Right.
I'd have people yell ball like it was a punt or something, or it was a tip or something. I'd just have them yell it when the ball was in the air because you probably got a lot of time to adjust.
That's the thing. And if you're Fuller, though, you have to almost say, if you get roasted over the top and you do that, I'm going to defend you to the media.
Right.
Because this is what we're telling you to do, because it looks like there's a 70% chance on those passes it's going to be underthrown, unless it's inside the 30-yard line or so, because those throws to the end zone he makes from scoring range,
the best in the conference.
They're absurd.
He does it all the time.
They're so good.
They're always on they're dimes. It's unbelievable. And I have no reason to dislike him, but I'm beginning to dislike Sam Hartman.
Oh, well, he wants 15 yards on every play anytime he gets hit.
That's probably what it is.
That's what it is.
Their game so far this year against mighty VMI, 44-10, Vanderbilt, 45-25, Liberty, 37-36, and then, of course, a loss to Clemson in which they scored 45 points. So, yes, they have lit up the scoreboard against everybody they have faced.
What was interesting in watching that broadcast again, they told McDonough and Joe Tess that they want to run the ball only to set up the pass. They don't really care if it succeeds or not, and they will take sacks. They don't care about that either, as long as it sets up the pass down the field.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some years where you watch their offense and they have a legitimate ground game, and it's fearsome. And Jamie Newman was the quarterback when they had a quarterback run element that was really something that you had to worry about. This group apparently, and I don't know if it's just because they knew that Clemson's defensive front was so good, but they say we're content to take no gainers or having the quarterback hit because we know what that's going to do. It's going to open up the downfield pass because the safeties have to cheat up.
The one thing I will give, it's not the one thing, one of many reasons there are to like Hartman if he's your quarterback beyond the prolific numbers. He has led a lot of late drives these last 2 years. Wake scores late in games all the time. I just mentioned the Liberty game. I watched that game. That was a fun game. I mean, it was a shootout in the fourth quarter, 17-13 in the fourth. Final score was 37-36. But that was a drive with under 3 minutes to play that he goes 72 yards on in 2 minutes. It's just like boop, 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 boop down the field.
The thing that's really encouraging from a Florida State perspective about that is the way you approach the BC game is the way you're going to have to approach Wake Forest. By that, I mean, if you're
on fire,
if you're up, you keep adding to it. You must keep adding to it. Clemson's up 14-0, and that looks like it's going to be a laugher. The next thing you know, they're down 28-20 in the beginning of the third quarter. And you go, how the hell did that happen?
Wake's a weird team that way, by the way. They've had these kinds of comments you're describing. They were also up 20-8 at half against Liberty. They were killing them, and then they gave up 15 and 13 in the third and fourth quarters, respectively. Like, that got harrowing for no reason. They're just a weird team. These games all tend to be – if we hadn't turned it over 6 freaking times and played McKenzie Milton last year and also got screwed by 5 different horrific calls, I still maintain that would have been a game, but he can't say if on 3 different things and have anybody take you seriously. I got it. But I don't think that game was indicative to the skill level of both teams, is all I'm saying. And the timing of those calls a year ago were devastating. Devastating.
Yeah, to me, this is a game where the backs, and we can talk about this more on Saturday, I suppose, but this is where the backs are going to shine, I think. And I don't know if it's traditional run between the tackles. It seems like Shipley there were a lot of plays that maybe DJ didn't find Shipley for that are very basic reads that Jordan's not going to miss. I mean, I'm talking routes run out of a wide receiver position, motion pre-snap, all that kind of stuff. Wake will give up a lot of stuff underneath to the backs. They're cheating deep.
Yeah, they don't want to get beat deep. Yeah.
And Jordan is not too proud to stand back there and wait. DJ doesn't sometimes know what he's looking at.
Next hour, I think we have the Garnet and Gold trivia, right? So we want to tell everybody to get to their computer and get set up. If you're not signed up yet on warchant.com, this is it. Waning moments, waning hours of the $1 deal for warchant.com. Let's fire away. Get that membership going right now, warchant.com. That way you can go to the message boards when we ask the trivia question, and you could be the first to answer and win $25 to Garnet and Gold, which doesn't suck. A lot of good gear out this year. I've noticed that. And anyhow, you want to be part of that. In the interim, I will just say this as we get set. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, listen up. My friend Shannon Young, who was in town this past weekend, will likely be in town again this weekend. I hope everything's going all right with him and his team at the legendary Home Loans office there. They have a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference in their community. It's time to buy a new home, perhaps, for you and your family. They'll waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes, saving you over $2,200. Again, school teacher, nurse, firefighter, police officer, veteran, active military. FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
El Jalisco football at El Jalisco. What a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man. Everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow. Far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you and thank me later.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods. But the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it. And join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says time has run out for making preparations for Hurricane Ian, and now it's time to hunker down for the storm.
This is going to be a nasty, nasty day, 2 days. Probably we think now it will be exiting the peninsula sometime on Thursday. Yesterday, based on how fast it was moving, thought maybe it wouldn't be till the wee hours of Friday morning. So this is going to be a rough stretch.
The eye wall of Ian has begun to make landfall in southwest Florida. The system expected to barrel its way up toward Orlando tonight. But National Weather Center Director Ken Graham says the hurricane will only be moving slowly across the state.
It's going to take 24 hours or so once it makes landfall to make it to the other side of the state across the peninsula. So it's 24 hours of rainfall, 24 hours of winds pushing the water. That's 24 hours that you'll see some impacts associated with this.
Senior hurricane specialist Eric Blake of the National Hurricane Center says the deadly storm surge is going to be a major hazard.
We're expecting 8 to 12 feet above ground level in areas of southwestern Florida, not to mention widespread catastrophic flash urban and river flooding across central Florida.
The storm surges could cover over a nearly 100-mile stretch of coastline from Bonita Beach north through Fort Myers and Charlotte Harbor to Inglewood. The Hurricane Center is warning rainfall near the landfall could top 18 inches and even more in some areas. It's now being reported that 2.7 million Floridians are without electricity. On Wall Street, the Dow is ahead 432 points, the NASDAQ up 144. More at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hold out hope that is the case. Just like I began hour number one, I'll begin hour number two with the well wishes to all of you dealing with the worst aspects of this storm. We're certainly not having to do that here in Tallahassee. It's very easy to talk about a game when you have a beautiful day, which is what we have here in the capital city. But I know many of you throughout the rest of the state are dealing with much worse. Stay safe, be well. You're in our thoughts, and I hope everything goes safely for you and your loved ones. Now, again, to recap for those just tuning in, Florida State still plans on playing this game as scheduled. Nothing from the ACC home offices just yet. The last update we had was last night when Florida State Athletic Director Michael Alford noted that after having met with the proper authorities, everybody feels good about being able to play this game. And certainly the information we've received since that update seems to suggest that that is still a go. I already commented on Clawson's comments, which were absurd, and rolled my eyes and tissed him, so I won't do it again here. I will say, as far as Florida State goes, regarding updates of players, nothing new. We don't know anything new as far as whether or not they're going to have the guys that have been missing time, most notably Fabian Lovett, who I would guess is a no-go at this point, just my personal guess there, based on the visual evidence that you could see on television, or if you were in the stadium last Saturday or any of that. And then, of course, we'll see about Jared Verse. Crossing my fingers with Jared Verse, because I think he will play a major factor in disrupting the mesh point if he plays. I think he's the kind of player that could get penetration there and really disrupt the timing of this thing. And let's hope, like hell, that's exactly what happens.
Another thing, too, from the observable part of practice today is Robert Scott was taking part in full pads with individual drills. So sled work and things like that. So that's good to see. You know, it's a key 3-game stretch here. And frankly, I didn't expect to see that he would be at least working on the sled at this point.
Yeah, you're right.
Good for him. And good for the offensive line depth.
Florida State's got to hope during this 3-game stretch, A, they get people back, B, they don't lose anybody else. It is, we talk about how much better a football team this is. And we talk about it both from an athletic standpoint, a depth standpoint, the psyche, all of those things that lead you to a start like the Noles have gotten off to here. But we do so with the understanding that they've already lost 3 offensive linemen, 2 of them before the season even began, 1 of them in the first game. And you're like, well damn it, man. What has to happen for us to get through this? It's frustrating, but if you don't lose anybody else, you should be just fine. It's a big if, but especially for these 3 games, man. So excited for these 3 games. So much at stake. If Florida State, every time Florida State wins a game, not only do they ascend in the rankings, that's a given. We all know that, and I don't care as much about the rankings, but it certainly doesn't hurt your program to have the number next to your name get better and better and better. But then also, with each passing win, you build to a place where you begin to believe even more during this journey, this albeit brief but very enjoyable journey most of the time for those of us that love football anyhow, especially winning football. But you build to a place where you begin to believe that, hey, this is more than just becoming bowl eligible. I mean, now that's taken for granted. It's a foregone conclusion amongst Florida State's faithful now that we're finally going back to a bowl. Nobody's even talking about that, nor should they. We're 4-0. You got to win 2 more games. They will. But then secondly, you begin to think about, well, what's the quality of said bowl? Might there be an outside chance we win the division? If we win the division, could we win the conference? Well, take a look at the Coastal. Doesn't look good, does it? You could beat any team out of the Coastal. All right. What are we really talking about? It just graduates to the greater, more significant stakes at hand in starting Saturday, because you've put yourself in a position. They get even higher, those stakes do. And I really want to play Wake now for a lot of reasons. I want to play Wake now because I think we're in the best possible position to play them, given the game they just came off of and the game we just came off of, the success we're having right now. And perhaps you'd think a slightly downtrodden, definitely physically beat up Wake team coming in here. And then, of course, I want to beat them because Clawson said stupid stuff this week.
And that he did.
Yes.
Sentence after sentence.
Oh,
then there's another question. You think, all right, he's going to save himself. And then he didn't.
He finally did, but it took a while.
About 5 good minutes.
You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
What are you implying here? That Florida State's so, bloodthirsty that they would put your team or anybody else for that matter, their own fans and everybody involved, in peril to play a football game? Shut up.
It's hard to take any other conclusion away from that statement. That's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, it's
and
inferred.
that he's politically grandstanding. So you're going to get political during a hurricane about our willingness to play football and put your team in harm's way. Okay.
It's just
all right.
weird. It's just weird. It's like he was spitballing and then realized it too late and said a bunch of dumb things. And all right, man, you got to be better than that.
Like, I get it. You choked away a chance to beat Clemson at home, but don't make that our problem in Tallahassee and say.
And the reason he gets away with it, Tom, the reason he gets away with not getting lampooned for having choked away the opportunity is that they were underdogs, and he's at Wake, and he's done a good job at Wake, and they shouldn't even be in a position to compete with Clemson. And all those things are true, but they are in a position to compete with Clemson, and they were in a position to win that football game. And late, he decided to not go for the jugular two separate times, not once, but twice. I might forgive the one, not the two.
Look,
and
man,
so there it is.
In the second half, you have an 8-point lead, a 7-point lead, and a 3-point lead. And then you have the ball.
You have the ball, but that's the last one that you're about to
5.
say is the most important one.
Well, and then also you got 3 timeouts where you could get the ball back around your 40-yard line with, what do you think, 35 seconds to go?
That's the second one. The first one, though, starts before the 4th and 5, and it's the play calling on 1st and 2nd down, which suggests they really weren't interested.
What was fascinating about that was they ran 5 consecutive runs to start the drive. It got them 20-some-odd yards, close to 30 yards. So they're running it right down Clemson's third. They stop it on 1st, and then you come back to a weak-ass play call on 2nd. It just... Yeah, it was odd. You had
at that point, when he got stuffed on 1st down, I think he was like, well, let's just get to overtime. What are we doing? What do you mean? Let's just get to overtime. You can win the game, man.
And they've got good players, good enough players to beat us, even though he cowered last week with those same players.
Oh, they definitely have good enough players to beat us.
Absolutely.
Wake is a good football team, and he is a good coach. Both these things can be true. I mean, we can talk about him being, we can talk about him saying a really silly thing and inferring some rather dastardly things, in fact, is what's inferred there. But that's fine. Okay, you know what? We'll make a mental note of that. That's who you are. Got it. But you're also a good football coach, and Wake's got good players, a really good quarterback, and an offense that is really difficult to prepare for and frustrating if you don't reset the line of scrimmage. This is a maddening offense to prepare for.
So what's crazy about that offense, too, is in watching the Clemson game start to finish, I counted one obvious time they had an illegal man downfield. And you would think with the scheme that they run,
man, if you're going to run it, you gotta commit to it, and you got to teach it. And
you'd think they'd be 5 yards downfield or more on every play. You'd think it would just be this egregious non-calling from the officials because they feel bad because Wake Forest is not nearly as talented and tough as the opponent. And there's almost a pity factor in the fact that there aren't illegal man downfield calls. Instead, no, they're just never downfield. It's some sort of hybrid between pass protection and run blocking. I don't know what the hell it is, but it works, and it's so well coached. They're really, really well coached.
Yeah. I wonder about something. I got to ask you something. Why do you think? Because it doesn't necessarily portend of what's going to happen in our game, but it concerns me greatly. Clemson has destroyed Wake Forest in their matchups most years because they've always gotten to Hartman. They've blown up the line of scrimmage. That defensive line of Clemson's has been superior to Wake's offensive line. So schematically, Wake's not going to come out of what they want to do, and they're not really capable of coming out of what they want to do. They run what they run, right? And Clemson was one of the teams that could just blow it up. Hartman got punished, and the game would usually get out of hand. But in this game, there was really no pressure up front. And that after the first 2 series, that really gave Hartman all the time in the world to make play after play after play. And we know he will. He is a very capable player. And so Clemson's defense, which we think, and most everybody who watches the game and assess those players at the NFL in their upcoming careers and all that, Clemson has the best defensive line arguably in the country, and they did not get a lot of pressure on Hartman. That strikes me as incredibly odd and worries me for our game.
Yeah, I can see that. They turned in enough tackles for loss. I just think, to use a college basketball analogy, let's say that Scott Wood has come back in the gym. I know there's a kid that's done better than that recently. I forget which one it was. But let's say that, he hits 5 or 6 threes in the game. And instead of going 5 for 13, which is still amazing from 3-point, He goes 5 for 7 because he was fouled 6 times on misses. Things that wouldn't have even been
I
close.
see where you're going. Yeah.
That, to me, was Sam Hartman's performance against Clemson on Saturday. Did he make some unbelievable throws? More than 3. I mean, probably close to 6 or 7, where you go, Jesus, okay. If you're going to make that pass, there's nothing wrong with what the corner did or the safety did. That's just unbelievable football.
Well, especially those ones in the end.
But then there's another 5 or 6 PIs, and you're just like, okay. So the efficiency is off the charts for him, and that erases a lot of long down and distance situations for Clemson as well, or for Wake Forest, as well.
I do want to point out, and this is the last I'll bring this up, and it is something we're going to have to overcome. It's very specific to why I think this will be a shootout and why I do think that it might be a wise idea for us to keep the ball out of Sam Hartman's hands. Because I checked after I began to think about why can't Clemson's defensive line bother to get home against Wake. Yeah, this is how it reads from left to right, Tom. Redshirt senior, redshirt senior, redshirt junior, redshirt senior, redshirt junior.
This is the equivalent of playing BYU in the NCAA basketball.
You got a bunch of grown-ass men on their offensive line who've played a ton of football.
Yeah.
A ton of football.
I mean, Hartman has been around forever. It's just, COVID eligibility.
He's a redshirt senior, yes.
It's the roids of college football. That's
Yeah.
why you're seeing so many weird results across the country.
Yeah.
I that's my theory, at least, is that you've got so many dudes that are 5th and 6th year players going against programs that have more blue chippers, but they are 19 and 20 years old.
I mean, Adrian Martinez, in his 7th year, figured out how to have a good game. At some point, it was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, that is, and that concerns you, because even though we talk about the importance of verse, think about how young he is and who he'll be going up against.
Yeah.
He'll be going up against either a redshirt junior or a redshirt senior off the edge there. So
the thing that I find really fun, and it's the game within the game, and it'll depend on the personnel Florida State has, but it looked like Wake has some trouble with some twists and games up front, and Fuller's good at that.
Yeah, we like dialing up games, yeah.
Fuller's pretty good at that. So maybe that's something that can confuse. The problem is if Hartman actually decides to give the ball in that situation, you got a free release on a linebacker. It's just, I feel so much better because the pressure that they really put on, everybody's under pressure when they hold the ball that long. I mean, it's like anything else. If you can't get home against a standard offense, your secondary is putting in immense pressure. But at least for our sake here, this offense puts the linebackers and the safeties in conflict. We're as good as we've been at those two places in forever, linebacker and safety.
I like that we talk about the experience because it feeds into our next question. Heads up, everybody. Here we go. It's time, especially for those, well, actually only for those, Warchant.com members only. That's right. It's Garnet and Gold trivia time for Warchant.com members only. So you missed your window here. You could have signed up. It was only $1. It's still only $1 afterwards. You can't win today, but it's $1. Head to the Tribal Council if you are locked in. Look up top for the trivia thread. The first one to post the correct answer will win. You're playing for $25 to Garnet and Gold. Here we go. Garnet and Gold trivia time. Warchant members only. Here's the question. When was the last time FSU and Wake Forest met in Tallahassee, Florida? We're looking for what year and who was FSU's starting quarterback. 2-part question for you for the win. The last time FSU and Wake Forest met in Tallahassee, we're looking for what year. Who was FSU's starting quarterback? Come back, give you the answer. Fire away, baby. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. college, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
The kids are back in school, and that means more homework, more projects, more research, and more screen time for the kids. These days, you can't get much done without using a phone, tablet, or computer, so you'll need all your devices working properly. More Systems is here to help. Not only can you get repairs, upgrades, and replacements, but you can also get expert advice, guidance, and consultations on how to maximize the use of your Apple gear. The Trapper Keepers are gone, and in this digital world, More Systems are your digital experts. Online at McEnmoreSystems.com.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
It's been a while since I gave myself a real chance to meet someone new.
Susan and John are two kindred spirits who rediscovered the romance they deserve on Silver Singles, the secure dating site for singles over 50.
John is a massive foodie like me. It's been amazing to experience some of my favorite things again with someone who makes my heart beat faster. I'm so glad I got back out there.
Sign up today at silversingles.com/date. That's silversingles.com/date.
If you want to pay off high-interest debt faster, it's time to refinance with American Financing, America's home for home loans. Get a free mortgage review and learn about custom loans that can save you up to $1,000 a month. If you start soon, you may close in as fast as 10 days. Call 866-886-2026. That's 866-886-2026. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Garnet and Gold trivia, $25 to Garnet and Gold. That's cool. And are you prepared for me to give the answers to everybody? Because you've got the winner right there that we can flash on the screen and celebrate. Question was, once again, when was the last time FSU and Wake Forest met in Tallahassee? We wanted to know the year. The year was 2018. A lot of you got that. That is correct, 2018. And we wanted to know who was FSU starting quarterback at that time. It was indeed DeAndre Francois. And oh, by the way, Sam Hartman was on the team and played for Wake Forest on that night.
Here are your stat lines for both of the quarterbacks. DeAndre, 29 of 40 miles, getting bad. 353 yards and 2 scores.
Have a day, DeAndre.
Sam Hartman, 22 of 46 for 227, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
The other guy got in too.
Jamie Newman was there, yeah. I think that was mop-up duty because it ended up being a runaway for Florida State, a rare one under Willie.
And our winner is Conspiracy. You see what he did there? Conspiracy is your winner. 2018 Francois. Good job, Conspiracy.
Sorry to the runner-up, Zyler, who was there just right after him.
Scroll down. There's Zyler. There's who else? Keep going. Tough luck, Griffey Knoll. Keep going. So sorry, Smooth Knoll 83. Disappointed for you.
We got an Alex Hornibrook guess. There were a lot of James Blackman guesses.
Did feel like he was here for a long time. He's still playing college football, ladies and gentlemen. He is.
James Blackman?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I don't have anything against him. Talk about being thrown into an untenable situation. And then Jimbo not only threw him in there, but told everybody how great he was. Guy had been here like an hour. He's going to whoop ass. Yeah. We're not dialing anything back.
Him and Eberly. There's just something different about this guy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that he hasn't played college football. That's what's different about him.
And he's a bucko, too.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball considering contingency plans for this weekend's series against between the Braves and the Mets. Rapidly intensifying hurricane has something to do with that. Imagine that. Pivotal 3-game series. Are you nervous, Tom? You got all these distractions. You got your job. You've got this big game for the Noles. But, man, your heart's going to be thinking about Truist Park and the Mets and Braves.
I have a wife, too. That obviously
it's heart of the sports
matters.
season right now. Yeah. Heart of the sports season.
I'll be nervous if the Mets win tonight. We have problems with the Marlins in September when there's a chance to close things out.
Historically, Jeff, we've had some issues.
Yes,
with the Marlins.
Lost on the final Sunday of the season 2 times, once in 07, the next year, 08. They closed down Shea with a loss, and in those years, we blew 6-game leads with 16 games to go and 3 games lead with, I think it was 7 games to go, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marlins finished the job. So if they win tonight, by they I mean my beloved Mets, then I will be nervous for this series. But right now, I'm assuming we're going to lose to the Marlins tonight, and then I won't be nervous because then we'll be behind the 8 ball.
Pirates lead the Reds, if you're all wondering, 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Looking for the series sweep over the Reds, I think it is. Just in case you guys were wondering about my Buccos against the Reds. Really manhandling the Reds currently over the last couple of nights. You know that Prize Picks, who we do business with here on the program.
Just a little.
Prize Picks has a cool little baseball thing that I've tapped into and won some money on, Tom. Total bases. Where, see, Director Matthew knows. I saw the knowing nod over there.
It's a little slugging over under.
I like it. And, you got a little, they gave you a freebie yesterday. They're like, Aaron Judge, total bases, 0.5. Like, oh, there, he's going to get walked.
Well, Gabe is a Debbie Downer in the chat. He says, we weren't wondering about what Prize Picks had for baseball.
I don't care, Gabe. It's my show. And yes, Wilmer, they are, if they're about to get swept by the Pirates. Prize Picks has a lot of good stuff. Prize Picks has a ton of things for college football, pro football, PGA Tour, all that good stuff.
All the C's.
And by the way, the PGA is back this week, so Prize Picks and me.
Wait a minute. He buried the lead there.
Got a little tussle. I'll give you some guys before the end of the show today. I'll give you some.
You should just say the names randomly and when you're making another point, and then that way the listeners have to have their pen and paper ready to go.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
You know, Sam Hartman, Trey Mullinax is really going to have to worry about.
Hey, good call on Trey Mullinax. What'd you look up, buddy?
Did I nail it?
I do have him in one of my leagues. Yeah. So I could be like, Tom, let me tell you something about Davis Riley. And then you'd be like, what? And then I could make another point. And on third down, you look at a guy like Emilio Grillo, who's really been putting it well lately.
Just people are looking up Wake Forest roster.
Yeah.
I'm on the alphabetical. I don't see a Grillo.
And if it comes down to the fourth quarter, a guy like Thomas Dietrich could surprise you.
You're welcome, folks.
Yeah, there it is. There you go. Got a lot of guys, a lot of different looks this week because I've been starving for the PGA to come back. That's my thing. I've been able to do well with Prize Picks on the PGA. So is Director Matthew. We team up sometimes to take down Prize Picks. It's become a thing. Just so you know.
It's like with our powers combined, you summon Captain Planet.
I haven't given much thought to Florida State falling this weekend in the sense that, well, no, here's what I mean. We are on such a roll that every day we get up, first of all, I do consider myself incredibly fortunate to have this job and to work in this field and to do what we do for a living. I know we both do. And so you don't take that for granted. And oddly enough, as you get older, you really grow to appreciate it even more, just because you realize that, it could have gone a million different ways. It just turned out that you got to work in the career in the field that you've always wanted to work in. But here's the thing. Whenever you're rolling and you're in a great mood and everything's going well, and then it's aided by the actual results on the field, right? Like, so things are going well in your life, but your teams are also winning. You're just flying high. You don't spend a lot of time even considering, like, what if they lose? What if they lose? Like, what happens? Because I also, A, think Florida State's going to win this weekend. But B, we got into this debate yesterday. Somebody asked it during Seminole Headlines, and that is, how would you feel about an 8-4 season now that they're 4-0? And I still say I'd feel good, while recognizing that would mean, obviously, you're going 4-4 over your last 8, if that happens. And if you're 500 over your last 8 games, obviously that's not overly compelling. That doesn't give you wings, buddy. That makes you kind of feel very grounded. But at the same time, man, if you take a step back and you have the perspective that we had before they kicked off against LSU, if I told you, Tom, I'm going to remove any chance that we go 9-3, but I'm also going to remove any chance of a losing season or even a 500 season, and I'm going to tell you, you can take 8-4 right now. You can have it. You can have it. Will you take it? Will you take this 8-4? And I won't tell you who we beat and who we lose to or anything like that. I'm just going to, here's that 8-4 for that ass. Do you want it?
Do you accept this rose?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay.
And here's why. Because but this is also the same reason I would be okay with 8-4.
Okay, this isn't Tom talking after seeing us win 4 games.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking to you like the kickoff hadn't occurred in one game yet on the year.
Okay.
We hadn't played LSU. I'm saying if I walked in and said, I know the future, it's 8-4, and that's it. But now you can take it or leave it. You don't have to take it.
Right.
You can
Let's make a deal.
You can say, piss off. I don't want your 8-4. I want to play the games.
Hashtag piss off.
That's right. I want to play the games, Cameron. I want to play the games. Let's see how the cookie crumbles. Would you have taken that 8-4? Just you and me in a room?
Yes, I would have.
Okay, thank you for being honest.
Because it's important for the future of the program that you set a new baseline.
But the goalposts have moved for many in this fan base now. There's no, like, a lot of them will tell you there's no way they would have taken that, and I call BS. They would have taken 8-4. There are very few people deep down in their hearts who would say, no, I thought, Jeff, and I mean this, there was a very good chance that they would go 9-3, and I don't want your piddly 8-4. Come on. Very few people truly believed that.
Okay, so let me ask you the question that I thought you were asking me. If I could take 9-3 off the table right now, and you could take 8-4, I'd offer to you today at 4-0. Would you take it? You wouldn't?
Not now. No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Because I think we're going to get Fabian Lovett back soon, and I think we're going to get Verse back. I think we're getting better with each game that we play and more confident. I think that Jordan Travis is on the cusp of a great season. The receiving core is getting better and better and more diversified, at least in terms of the people contributing. I think they got a really good shot at 9-3 now. It's a good shot, not a great shot, but it's like right there. You win this weekend and get to 5 wins. I feel pretty good about 9-3. I do.
That's the thing I'd say where I'd still be okay with if they came in at the finish line at 8-4. It would hurt. These last couple months wouldn't be perfect, and we'd be mad about stuff, and that's only fair. But they've battled through so many injuries already.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, at some point, they might show, it might rear itself that you don't have the depth. And one would think this 3-game sequence could be a sequence in which that would happen. But then also 3 out of 4 where you play Miami on the road, Syracuse on the road, and Florida at home. I mean, who knows what those teams are going to be in November?
I know right now it feels like that Syracuse game is really difficult.
Yeah, it does. 100% it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
On the heels of Miami, the good thing is at least your lead up to Miami is a bye week in Georgia Tech, so you should be relatively fresh for that pair of games. But still, a lot of weird stuff can happen from here on out, and I think they're only exceeding expectations. If they still finish 8-4, I don't know that I think that this was a disappointing year. I still think this would be a year of improvement. It's just right now you're staring and daring to dream at the same time. You're staring at that schedule. You're saying, man, don't mess around and win 2 games in the next 10 days. Because if you do, you're staring 10-2 in the face at minimum.
Yeah, I think that honestly, I wrestle with this second part, the follow-up question you asked me, because I may be the one getting carried away at 4-0 in my answer, because I do know you're an injury away at linebacker from having a real problem on your hands.
Another offensive line injury, just one.
You're one player away on the offensive line at this point, as we currently sit, from having real problems. You're obviously, if Jordan Travis were to go down, you're not the same formidable offense. You may be better off than you were now that we've seen.
But you take 8-4 with that same question.
Yeah. So, I get it. I mean, I think it's fascinating, the idea that you came into this season, and if I could have told everybody here, hey, man, I'm getting you 8-4, I can guarantee it. I can't tell you who we're going to beat or who we're going to lose to. I just know we're going to win 8 games. A lot of people now have shifted and changed, again, moved the goalposts, as I said before. They would now tell you, oh, it's disappointing to go 4-4 the rest of the way. And, admittedly, I can't tell you how to feel after a win or a loss. I mean, I say it all the time. I'm a broken record, have been for 20-plus years on the airwaves. Wins and losses happen for a reason, and they elicit emotion, one way or the other. You provide your fan base with a massive upset in a game in which they were, here we go, bereft of hope entering the contest. That can feel like 2 wins. That can feel like a season saver. You're 14, 17-point underdogs to Florida, and you beat them on the heels of a bad season. That changes your entire outlook on the next year. It's crazy how that works. You're a 17-point favorite against Florida, and you lose at home. That is a devastating turn of events. So I know that singular games and the way they're won and lost can change the way you feel about a coach, a player, a team, a season.
Yeah, what's interesting, it's so hard because anytime you take a side in this debate, it feels like you're either hating on the Noles or you're a blind sycophant for the Noles. But I can understand where somebody looks at the rest of the schedule and they say, there's nobody special left on the schedule. And I agree, there is nobody special.
It depends on
the
how
schedule.
special you think we are.
I don't think we're special.
I don't think we're special.
I think
either.
we're good, though.
I think we're greater than our individual parts, right? I think we are.
And yet I feel like we're going to go 2-1 in this stretch. So wouldn't you think I'd say that we're special? No, I think the rest of the field this year is so watered down outside of the elite.
Well, I believe, here's what I believe when you tell me you think we're going to go 2-1. I think you believe that we're going to beat Wake on Saturday. That's a given. In a 2-1 prediction, you believe we're going to beat Wake on Saturday. Fine. So throw that out. I already know that. And then I think you think we're going to beat Clemson here.
I don't know that I do.
I think you do. I don't think you and I should do a side bet for fun or put it on the big board. We need to do the big board stuff anyhow, because we'll have to figure out a way to phrase it and do some tall boys and have some fun with it. I think a little bit more of NC State than you do.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I also think that the road game at night in that place is just hell. I hate it. We've been good and we go to lose to lesser NC State teams there. That's going to be a problem.
I just feel like we're going to be so prepared for that moment with what we've seen so far that it won't seem easy per se, because NC State's talented. It'll seem routine though. You won't be seeing anything special. And NC State will be coming off of, one way or another, a really physical game against Clemson. It's not to diminish our game against Wake.
And that is the hope. I agree with you.
I just love the circumstances.
There is a path.
It's the same thing as this weekend. I love ACC did us a favor. You got 2 key games coming after Clemson, but then the problem is you face Clemson after you're going to be sky high emotionally for these next 2 weeks. So I feel like that's a tough thing to follow up.
We haven't been flat for a game yet.
Correct.
And that is unusual. It's a lot to get people to be, it's a misnomer that kids should always be sky high to play. You only get 12 of these. How could you not be fired up? I hear people say stuff like that all the time, right? It's a lot easier to say than actually do. And that usually is the byproduct of whatever you were during the week of practice. On game day, most kids, anybody, any competitor is, at least in their mind, intensely ready to play a football game. I mean, they can't wait. But were you committed to all the work necessary leading up to that game to have that be the release? Have that be the, to go out there and be able to execute the game plan and be sky high and be able to react to adversity and all that. The week of preparation is usually what I'm talking about within that they weren't focused commentary. It's never really the individual game. That's the byproduct of what didn't take place during the week. So I think what really is impressive is that they have truly been focused on every opponent.
Can I say this one extra thing about are we good, are we special, that conversation? If you can get Robert Scott back fully healthy.
So this is...
And you get Verse and Lovett back, you are borderline in this season. This season doesn't have a whole lot of B+ teams or a lot of let's put it A- teams. They've got A+ in Georgia. You've got the second class, and then usually there's this group.
I mean, we'll see what Alabama is this weekend. If they go on the road to Fayetteville and dominate Arkansas,
right?
Okay, they're back to being themselves.
Sure, but I mean, typically there's a group of 3 or 4 that are the elite.
Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia right now.
And then the next 6 to 10 in a given year are this second thing that most people aren't. I don't think there is a second class this year. I don't think there's a middle one.
Right.
I think, why not us? And I think if we are healthy, we are most certainly in that second wave of teams. We're in the conversation to be one.
Okay, well, these are the undefeated
but we've
teams.
got to get healthy.
So 2 things on that point, Tom. Here are the remaining undefeated teams. Now, again, I told you in the first hour, Bill Connolly ranks them, and it's just his SP plus and everything else that's involved. Okay, right. But I'm going to name every undefeated team that remains in the country. Okay, there's 21 of them. We're one of the 21. That's all that remain in the country, which is just cool to say. Fun to say it out loud. You know who's not undefeated? Florida, not even close. You know who's not undefeated? Miami, not even close. They just lost to Middle Tennessee State. Tom, did you know that? So here you go. Coastal Carolina. F you, Coastal Carolina. We're better than you. Syracuse, we'll get a chance to find out. James Madison will beat your ass.
They beat Miami's ass.
I don't. Who?
By the transitive property, James Madison, because they beat Middle Tennessee 44-7.
I was going to say, sir. Kansas. All right, I'm not so sure that we're better than Kansas. I'm not so sure we're not. Oh. That is an impressive resume.
Come on, Leopold. Bring it.
It's Leipold.
Oh, you finally deviated. I went with it for the show. Oh, man. All right. I've been hearing Leipold for weeks on Sirius XM.
I know that.
But I think Leopold's funnier.
I do too, but I set you up. TCU.
Get you some.
It'd be a good game. I think, probably better. UCLA. I don't trust UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Washington. Where are we?
They're too far away. I haven't seen them play.
Where are we playing them? They beat Stanford's ass 40-22 last week. I don't know. NC State. We're going to
Stanford's ass
40-22. That's nothing. I'm just. Well, I mean, they did. It was a late touchdown for Stanford. It was an ass beating. NC State on the road. We're going to find out. Kentucky.
I'd love that game.
Well,
how about the first round of the playoff? Kentucky, Florida State.
Do you think Will Levis would light us up, or what do you think?
Do we have Fabian and Jared?
Okay.
That's the thing with these teams.
All right, I'm going to give you another one now. And here's where you're going to start to get a little bit like, okay, a little tougher to say definitively.
Michigan?
No, Southern Cal.
We'd score all day on that defense.
Mm-hmm. And how many would we give up?
Less than we score.
No.
That's right.
Minnesota.
Tough one. That's a tough one.
Oh, I can't. This is that bias because of your wife.
No. Their approach right now is fit
they
for
mash.
our weakness.
They mash. They do. But come on, you're going to assertively say that we're going to breeze past USC and then be nervous about Minnesota?
That's right, because I don't look at brand names of programs and have biases, sir.
That's not why. Who is it that Minnesota beat that you went, damn? Certainly can't be Michigan State.
Styles make fights,
Okay.
and right now that style doesn't fit the fight that we need.
That's a better argument.
Well,
Penn State.
My primary.
Penn State. Okay, well, then you better be fearful of Penn State because they got 2 running backs that will run all over your ass.
They've got a generous quarterback, however.
They do.
God forbid you win
But
first and second down.
Know. Ole Miss. Don't know enough, right?
Yeah. Actually, this weekend's game with Kentucky will give me a good idea on who Ole Miss is.
I just never believe in Oklahoma State. Now, that might be my bias because I'm an OU guy. I just don't. I mean, Oklahoma State, come on, get the hell out of here with that. Tennessee.
It's a shootout, man. In a way, I feel like we're playing Tennessee this weekend. It's a different looking offense, but it's the same kind of disparity between offense and defense.
Clemson will find out. Michigan.
I think they're a little fraudulent, man.
That last game.
I hear the goats in the distance.
Well, I was not impressed with J.J. McCarthy last week. He kind of sucked. I watched that game.
The problem is all these teams are like, yeah, we'll smoke them. You got to have love it in verse. If you don't, then that's a problem.
Okay, so we're going to get to the there's no way in hell teams now. Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we agree on that.
Probably. Georgia for sure. Georgia for sure.
Oh, my
Hey,
goodness.
man, Longhorns just lost to Texas Tech. What gives?
Longhorns lose to everybody.
So is Texas Tech going to give Bama a game?
No. Here is the text I got from Director Matthew, and we are way past due for a break, but it's just been so fun talking college football with everybody. Where is it? Where are you, Matthew? I know you said this to me. Here we go. Sarkisian at Texas is 1-5. Sarkisian is 1-5 against Power 5 opponents when the opponent throws 30+ times. So if they come in chucking it around the stadium, you're in trouble. 0-7 when the starting quarterback throws it 30+ times. 9 loss. Yeah.
This is all very embarrassing for Alabama then.
9 losses with a lead in the second half. Texas has under Sarkisian.
Yeah, this is all very embarrassing for Alabama that the game was that close then.
4 of the 9 losses that they have in which they led in the second half were double-digit leads.
Nick, how did it ever get so close?
Sark, you're in trouble. They're coming for you. We're coming down to the woodwork with stats. The receipts are in hand at the gate. Ian, I wanted to say thank you. You noted that Jeff and Tom, retired Army, I lived through you guys on here and love that you are living the dream covering our Noles. Well, thank you, Ian, and thank you for your service. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Local businesses extending their resources in the wake of Hurricane Ian's arrival include Proof Brewing Company, who announced it'll offer free water to those who need it. With a barrel holding nearly 2,000 gallons of filtered water, Proof Brewing Company says, take what you need to weather the storm. The distillery has smaller bottles and caps, but asks that if you need larger containers filled, you bring them with you. Founder of Proof, Byron Bro, said, I know water is always something that is a big consideration for people locally. We have plenty of the best and cleanest water in town, so we figured it's our part to offer it up to anybody that needs it. Proof Brewing will be offering Water Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Leon County Schools will be open Wednesday. Administrators say after consulting with emergency management, school campuses will not be opening as shelters on Wednesday. Allowing schools to remain open, the district says will provide updates if there are changes to school operations on Thursday. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. They will be moving to a new location October 3rd. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 78 this afternoon under overcast skies, northeast winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy again tonight, lows level off around 62. Slight chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 75, mainly cloudy. Chance for scattered rain showers Friday and Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 78.
Now's the time to make sure you're prepared for Hurricane Ian. Visit leonready.com for the 2022 Disaster Survival Guide and a list of disaster supplies. Plus, you can download the Citizens Connect app to receive emergency notifications. That's leonready.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so talking about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Seen Kevin Kinney and Driving and Crying like 19 times in my life. I'm sure he'll be dead soon.
Oh, all right.
Kevin's looking rode hard and put up wet, I gotta tell you.
Bookmark that, Matthew.
Yeah. Have it ready. Just like Mac Brown.
I knew that was coming.
Well, it was set up. You could score a VIP fan experience at the FSU Florida game on Friday, November the 25th. Those text Bud Light Fan 22 to 855-297-9460 for a chance to win sideline passes, hospitality passes, 2 tickets to the game, plus Bud Light and FSU fan gear. That's Bud Light Fan 22 to 855-297-9460. Make your football season epic with Bud Light. Must be 21 or older to enter. For complete contest rules, visit TriEagleSales.com. We appreciate our friends there at TriEagle jumping on board. I appreciate my friends at Tallulah, Tom. I'm learning all kinds of stuff about the uses of Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, Kava, CBD, THC, all of it.
Delta 14.
You got me. That was really good. I remember thinking 14 was weird. When you're like, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez, I'm going through all through.
So did Bono.
Yeah,
you
did it randomly.
Hello.
So there's more than just CBD there, guys. There's more than that. You can relax and be weightless in the zero gravity goodness that is the floating, the Delta 8 plus floating in Railroad Square experience, right? That's got to happen. I still have not done it, but I'm going to do. They do have a lot of natural pain relief, stress relief, and you get better sleep too. Whoa! So there it is. There it is. Did I miss something?
We got a couple. One from old Pappy Gilmore.
Pappy, what's up, baby? Over under 2 field goal attempts Saturday, not including PATs. Go Noles. Good work, Jeff and Tom. And director as well. And he spelled director properly. Come on, man. We can't be out here settling for field goals, Tom. Under Pappy. Under 2 field goal attempts.
It's because we're leading by so much in the fourth quarter that Mike says we need some work.
I'm going under. Marcus, always appreciate you as well. $2 for a certified winning bet. Where is it going? Woo! I don't know that I have a certified right now. It's Wednesday. The certified bets come later in the week. Although last week they were certifiably ass. Is what they were.
Well, maybe what you can do is
I'll rebound this week.
Maybe tomorrow you could just say the word certifiable next to one of them so that Marcus gets his wish.
Marcus, I will push hard for that $2 bet you're about to place on a surefire winner. I'll find it for you somewhere. But they were certifiably ass is what they were last week. I mean, my goodness. Oh, I do like the watch-alongs. These are fun. That killed me last week. All right, let's do this. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
You want to know what's awesome? The vindictive, petty baseball gods overheard me bragging on the Pirates' potential sweep of the Reds. And despite having a 3-0 lead in the 8th, it is now 3-3 in the 9th. Luis Sessa started the game for the Reds. Bryce Wilson started for the Pirates and was betrayed by his bullpen. Betrayal. Rays Guardians. Hey, look, everybody. Tyler Glasnow, just in the nick of time, is going to make a start this year. Always hurt. Tristan McKenzie goes for the Guardians. Royals, Tigers, Daniel Lynch, Matt Manning, Braves, Nats. Boy, there's not a bigger fan of the Nats than this guy right across the glass from me right now. You got to get your Nats hat out. Get your Teddy Roosevelt doll out there.
What did you say? Oh, Teddy Roosevelt.
Jake Odorizzi and Josiah Gray.
The director heard it out like I did. Like, oh, dump button.
I said Teddy Roosevelt.
I know.
I don't even know what you think I said.
I'll let him tell you.
Okay. Yankees, Blue Jays, Garrett Cole, Mitch White.
Not just screwing Mitch White.
Thank you. Orioles, Red Sox, Dean Creamer, Rich Hill. Marlins, Mets. Jesus Luzardo, Tawan Walker. Advantage Mets.
Ooh, I don't know.
Phillies, Cubs, Aaron Nola. His brother's a catcher with the Padres. Hayden Wisniewski goes for the Cubs.
Taiwan's been pitching like a certain kicker the second half. So,
White Sox, Twins, Johnny Cueto, Josh Winder. We got the Cardinals and the Brewers. Jose Quintana, that creep can roll, man. Brandon Woodruff. 10 seconds means I'm going to tell you one last game. Rangers, Mariners. It's random, man. Martin Perez, George Kirby. Good job, Tom. Good job, Director Matthew. Thank you, everybody.